The information presented in the program has been provided by the featured companies. The producers of New to the Street and or its affiliates have received 40 million shares from Medifile for investor relations, as well as the production and media buying of this show, of which 37,257,665 have been sold. Additionally, companies controlled by the producers purchased on the open market 6,632,700 shares, which they currently hold and can be expected to sell at any moment. Furthermore, a company controlled by the producers have a commitment to receive an additional 50 million shares for its cash investment in Medifile of 150,000 and will sell said shares when they become free trading in accordance with applicable laws. The producers anticipate receiving 10 million shares from Blast Applications to present the program to you. The producers of New to the Street have not independently verified any of the information presented, nor do they make any recommendation to purchase or sell the company's securities. For additional information about New to the Street, its affiliates, and their equity interest in a featured company, please visit our website at www.newtothe street.com.
Here's what's new to the street. President Obama has called upon Americans to boost their understanding of their personal finances. So Maribel Aber talks about what the U.S. Treasury and FDIC are doing about financial literacy. She also looks at the challenges facing the U.S. economy from Wall Street. Erica Ferrari brings us up to date on the pending budget battle at the Department of Health and Human Services.
And Anna Barry taps into cutting-edge mobile technologies with Blast Applications.
And I'll introduce you to Medifile, a company that just may help you to take control of your medical records.
Today from New York, this is New to the Street.
Medifile International is a healthcare technology and services organization enabling people to create and maintain their medical records. Joining us to talk about his company is CEO Kevin Hauser. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
So tell me about Medifile.
Medifile is an electronic personal health records company whereby on behalf of our members, and of course along with their authorization, we go out, we do the actual gathering, digitizing, indexing, and organizing of any and all an individual's medical records from any doctor, hospital, or healthcare facility so that they have full, complete control over their medical records 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from virtually anywhere in the world.
Tell me about the history of the company.
About 11 years ago, unfortunately, my grandmother was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. She was a widow living in South Florida. My father, my entire family, who are up from north, he'd have to fly down to South Florida, take my grandmother from doctor to doctor, and in doing so, every doctor that he took my grandmother to required that he have all the previous records from all the other doctors. He'd go back to New York, wait till the records arrived, and this type of pattern would continuously go on and on. Finally, unfortunately, my grandmother had passed away. He set out on a personal goal to create a system and service that was designed for us, the patient, so that when and where we needed our medical records, Medifile would have them.
Now, I have to tell you, as a lifelong patient, as everybody is, you, me, the crew, everybody watching, when I go to a doctor's office, I like to see things that are modernized. And I've been to doctor's offices in various parts of the country, leading up to where I live now, and everything seems antiquated. You go in, the first thing I notice is the shelves in the back of the office filled with paper folders with scribblings on it that are records of people. That scares me.
Yeah, the paper walls. Unfortunately, we see a lot of digitization in all various different industries. Unfortunately, though, the healthcare industry has not been very quick to adopt to the digital age. There is federal mandate by 2014 to have all providers using electronic medical record systems. And we certainly hope the adoption rate will move a little bit faster than it has.
Now, staying on the subject of the federal government setting a goal to creating an electronic health record for every American by 2014, tell me about the marketplace and the barriers that Medifile has encountered to reach that target.
Well, I think that the mandate, as important as it is, it's going to be a difficult task. And a couple of things that I think stand in the way is, number one, cost. Some of these electronic medical record systems can be very costly. And as we both know, although there's incentives for these doctors, the cost can still be very cumbersome for these doctors. And with reimbursements the way they've been cut, doctors are not making what they used to make. The other problem I see is that doctors who have been practicing for quite a while don't want to have to change the way they practice medicine. And I assure you that putting an electronic medical record system in their office will require these doctors to change the way they practice medicine.
And when you talk about cost, can you really put a price tag on breathing and living?
I certainly don't think you can. And you're talking about the market for MediFile is the multi-billion-dollar market. Virtually every American should have, at least in our opinion, a MediFile, a longitudinal record for any and all of their medical information, health information throughout their lifetime.
Now, I see you brought a literal example of what MediFile is and what people are paying for. Show us.
This is actually the MediDrive, which is a portable USB thumb device that, when inserted into any Windows-based PC, will automatically load that individual's emergency medical information. Now, individuals can go onto our secure website and access any and all of their own information 24/7. They can do it from any mobile platform, the MediDrive, and just recently we were approved by Apple in the App Store to have our free MediFile emergency app for all existing members.
Now, I see you're also wearing another example of MediFile technology. Show us.
This is the same type of technology, a USB silicone bracelet that we offer our members as well. And for me, if in the event I don't have my keys on me, the one thing I know that I always do is have my bracelet.
Now, we're talking about errors that cause a lot of problems. In some cases, can cause unfortunate fatalities when it comes to doctor-patient, patient-doctor, medical community. Give me examples of medical errors that MediFile is working to correct.
Well, first, let's look at the statistic that most people don't even know, that they're not aware of. Medical errors is one of the leading causes of death in the United States, between the 5th and 8th leading cause of death. And a good portion of those fatalities and injuries are due to medication errors. So you might have a doctor that writes a script for a patient, and unfortunately those doctors are very often not communicating with other doctors, and another doctor would write another script for the patient. Those could have a potential drug-to-drug interaction between each other. So one thing that we did in our system is when we built our database, as soon as an individual enters a new medication, it queries through to search if in fact there is any drug-to-drug interactions that may exist, and if there are, we alert you instantaneously with hazards on the screen.
Now, tell me how MediFile attracts members.
We actually have 3 different business models: a business to consumer, business to business, and what we coin the provider to consumer. We currently maintain an online email and telemarketing campaign direct to the consumer. We have the B2B model, in which we work with organizations, groups, large entities, and of course the payer systems is one of the entities that we're looking to work with on behalf of their insured. And the provider to consumer network, so that we work with doctors and physicians groups to educate and market our services to their patient base. Because of course, we believe if your doctor tells you that something's a very important thing for you to do, we expect and we hope that those patients will of course go ahead and take their doctor's advice.
So it's all about medical stability for the company.
Without a doubt.
Tell me about the company's fiscal stability.
Well, currently we are doing a great job going out there and selling product. We started really marketing in the middle of last year. We're very, very pleased with the way that our sales have grown. Our internal forecast and intention is to be cash flow positive by the end of the year. We're very pleased that the company is completely debt-free.
We spoke before about HIPAA and the company's concierge. Tell me about those 2 points.
Well, HIPAA being the federal mandate is certainly a very important thing, although MediFile is not subject to HIPAA because we're not a covered entity. We take every precautionary measure to meet those standards and exceed them. Our concierge is really a wonderful tool. For those individuals out there that think I'm too old or they're not very computer savvy, our concierge is designed to help those individuals through phone interview, through booklet format, where they can either conduct a phone interview with one of their concierge reps or fill out their information in booklet form and then have our staff do, of course, the data entry. But really, from a common sense standpoint, our concierge is even designed so that if, in fact, the adult daughters and sons of some of our members want MediFile to check up on their moms or dads or grandmas and grandpas, our concierge will call 3 times a day sometimes to make sure that mom and dad are okay.
So it's not only clicking, it's calling, clicking, personal interaction, which you don't get a lot today.
Without a doubt. We really employ the KISS method. We really try and keep it very, very simple.
Where do you see MediFile in the short term versus the long term? Balance out both.
Short term, we continue to see some real excellent growth in the marketplace. PHR industry, only about 7% of Americans currently use personal health records. So we continue to see some real enhanced growth over the short term. In the long term, we look for MediFile to be the consumer brand name in the personal health records industry.
Now, the upside for this is limitless. I don't really see a lot of downside to having your records accessible as quickly, conveniently, and precisely as possible. I see no downside.
You and me are completely on the same page, Ken.
What would you say to somebody who's pondering whether or not to use MediFile?
Well, I can say with very clear certainty that as we sit here today, that yourself, your parents, children, every viewer that's watching this show at some point will without a doubt need their medical records. So it's not a personal sick record. We're a personal health record. So the time to start gathering and consolidating any and all of your information is not when you're sick, it's when you're healthy. And if we just take a look at the devastation that's happened in Japan, and we see that a very good portion of that region, chances are, lost their medical records for good. Well, the United States is vulnerable to the same type of destruction and devastation that we see there. It's not just earthquakes. We saw it happen with Hurricane Katrina. Close to 1 million people lost their medical records for good. We want everybody out there to become proactive, to become empowered, to utilize that tool that is available to everybody. That's probably the most important one, and that's, of course, information.
So MediFile is both electronically and people-friendly at the same time. You're integrating both.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And we have the ability of talking and being interoperable with various different electronic systems out there, so it makes it very seamless for some out there.
All right, he is Kevin Hauser, the CEO of MediFile. Kevin, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Ken.
And for more information about MediFile, you can visit medifile.com. We'll be right back.
New to the Street, brought to you by MediFile International, will continue in a moment.
Approximately every 3 minutes, someone in the United States dies from a medical mistake. It happens every day. For one reason or another, you find yourself in a medical emergency. Whether it is yourself, your child, or another loved one, paramedics, hospital staff, and other EMT personnel need urgent medical information instantly. When placed in a high-stress situation, one may forget their vital medical information. In an emergency, MediFile, your electronic personal health record, is designed to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. MediFile will collect, digitize, organize, and store all your actual medical records, making them instantly accessible to healthcare providers, yourself, or any others you authorize. Now you can carry your entire medical history with you everywhere you go. The MediDrive is a specially designed flash drive that holds your emergency medical information as well as your entire medical record. With all of your medical information at hand and securely stored, you can now switch doctors and easily send your records to your new physician. You can travel with full access to your records. You can avoid paying for unnecessary and duplicate tests. And you can rest assured knowing your records are safeguarded from a natural disaster or catastrophic event. Simply follow the directions on the website to enroll. The life you save may be your own.
Having your entire personal medical history at your fingertips finally puts you in control of your healthcare and wellness. Take control of your medical records with MediFile. Call 888-241-0800 or visit medifile.com.
Good. CEO Dino Luzzi from Blast Application is here to talk about the latest cutting-edge mobile technologies. His company develops applications for the iPhone, Twitter, and Android. Welcome, Dino.
Thank you.
Bienvenuto.
Grazie. Thank you for having me here.
We're so glad to have you. So tell me, how did you get involved in mobile technologies?
2 years ago, in 2009, I just noticed very good interest from young people and people even about my age for the apps. And my kids wanted the games to be downloaded in their own cellular phones. So that got my attention. I thought it was a great opportunity for a new business.
Right, so you created Blast Applications.
I went right ahead and I started in June 2009 Blast Applications.
Okay, so now it's 2011. A lot has changed, correct?
Absolutely. We keep running after the technology, but the technology is there. So I was already aware of the type of market because I used to develop mobile apps back in 2006. I can create a mobile app right now which will fit in every single type of cell phone. Take it from there, promote any business, bring the business to the next level, and then create the apps for Nokia, Android, every type of cell phone that it is available today. Wow. And that's what we're doing right now.
So give me some examples. Tell me what Blast Application is producing right now.
We created for different businesses, different apps. We have one for a chain of clothing stores that just entered into the Android market and is getting hundreds of downloads a day. We also created an app for a very good plastic surgeon. He came up with a new innovative way of doing a facelift. So I took that, put it into the app, and he's getting great exposure. He's getting himself, he's getting contacted.
Wow, an application for a plastic surgeon. So it can show people a before and then an after?
Absolutely. Apps for every type of business.
So why would developing an application help a business and bring more business to them?
People don't really go to websites anymore. There are too many websites. We are concerned that there are millions of apps. How many hundreds of millions of websites are out there? Got to create the apps that become your sales force. Now, you'll be in front of 600 million people today. Maybe next month it will be 700 million people. Very soon, the next 2-3 years, you'll be in front of the world.
Wow, so any business, any person can come to Blast Applications and create their own app anytime?
Absolutely.
Wow.
All we need is their idea, we'll develop their idea, or we can just take their website to take it to the next level.
Well, mille grazie, Dino.
Prego, è stato un piacere.
It's such a blast with Dino. So if you want to learn more about Blast Applications, visit blastapplications.com. Now back to you, Maribel. While the general market outlook has been positive, several factors have converged to be unsettling. Unrest in the Mideast and resulting increases in the price of oil, together with disappointment in initial earnings reports, compounded by near governmental shutdown, has given pause for uncertainty that has not yet been abated. Higher food and energy prices appear to indicate pressure on consumer price inflation, while oil prices are at highly elevated levels. In April, AAA reported that the price of gas reached a national average of $3.79 per gallon for regular grade. That represents nearly $1 higher than the same period in 2010. Now, while the Fed may not count food and energy in its core inflation calculation, consumers are clearly impacted by the increases. The U.S. deficit is on target to top Japan and the U.K., with a shortfall representing 10.8% GDP. That's according to a report released by the International Monetary Fund in April. The IMF reported that the U.S. has yet to take steps to rein in budget shortfalls. President Obama will reportedly have to cut the deficit by at least 5% of GDP to achieve his pledge to cut the deficit in half by the end of his presidential term. The most serious challenge facing the U.S. at this point is the implementation of a budget compromise that reduces the deficit while expanding economic growth and expansion of employment among American workers. It's clear from President Obama and Speaker Boehner's great compromise that we have a long way to go to achieve a workable budget that reduces the deficit while supporting the growth of the economy and employment gains. Now over to you, Erica.
Thanks, Maribel. During his State of the Union address, President Obama outlined his vision for how the United States can win the future by out-educating, out-building, and out-innovating the world. The Department of Health and Human Services says it's playing a big role in carrying out President Obama's plan by giving families and business owners better access to health care. The Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius, spoke before the House of Representatives, highlighting the president's 2012 budget. This year's budget is slightly below the 2010 level. The department reorganized and in some cases cut programs. Some of these cutbacks include chopping the community services block grant in half. The low-income home energy assistance program lost $2.5 billion. The budget eliminated subsidies to the children's hospitals. The senior community services employment program also got hit with a $375 million reduction. So what about advancing scientific knowledge and innovation? The Department of Health and Human Services says the new budget speeds up scientific discovery to improve patient care. The National Institute of Health, NIH, is getting a boost of $32 billion. In 2012, NIH says it will support more than 36,000 research grants. The goal is to find better treatments for Alzheimer's, cancer, autism, diabetes, and obesity. $78 million is going to the Office of the National Coordinator for the Health Information Technology. The idea is to promote electronic health records to modernize the healthcare system.
Approximately every 3 minutes, someone in the United States dies from a medical mistake. It happens every day. For one reason or another, you find yourself in a medical emergency. Whether it is yourself, your child, or another loved one, paramedics, hospital staff, and other EMT personnel need urgent medical information instantly. When placed in a high-stress situation, one may forget their vital medical information. In an emergency, MediFile, your electronic personal health record, is designed to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. MediFile will collect, digitize, organize, and store all your actual medical records, making them instantly accessible to healthcare providers, yourself, or any others you authorize. Now you can carry your entire medical history with you everywhere you go. The MediDrive is a specially designed flash drive that holds your emergency medical information as well as your entire medical record. With all of your medical information at hand and securely stored, you can now switch doctors and easily send your records to your new physician. You can travel with full access to your records. You can avoid paying for unnecessary and duplicate tests. And you can rest assured knowing your records are safeguarded from a natural disaster or catastrophic event. Simply follow the directions on the website to enroll. The life you save may be your own.
Having your entire personal medical history at your fingertips finally puts you in control of your health care and wellness. Take control of your medical records with MediFile. Call 888-241-0800 or visit medifile.com.
President Obama called upon Americans to boost their understanding of their personal finances and issued a proclamation stating the financial crisis was fueled by a lack of responsibility from Wall Street to Washington. It devastated ordinary Americans, many of whom were caught by hidden fees and penalties or saddled with loans they could not afford. To lay the foundation for continued prosperity, we must expand the availability of financial products and services that are fair, affordable, understandable, and reliable. We must also strive to ensure that all Americans have the skills to manage their fiscal resources effectively and avoid deceptive or predatory practices. The administration states that building on the important protections in the Credit Card Accountability, Responsibility, and Disclosure Act, the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, will help restore financial stability by enforcing the strongest consumer financial protections in history. This act created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, an agency with one job: to look out for the interest of Americans as they interact with the financial system. Meanwhile, House Republicans have proposed several bills that would alter and/or repeal provisions of Dodd-Frank, and the House Financial Services Committee is exploring legislative proposals to rein in the CFPB. Now, since the financial meltdown, financial literacy has received increased attention. More corporations value the importance of teaching students the core principles of personal finance. It's encouraging to see the expansion of financial literacy programs being created. The FDIC established the Money Smart program, which introduces financial education curriculum to low and moderate income individuals outside the financial mainstream. Financial institutions and other organizations interested in sponsoring financial education workshops are encouraged to collaborate and utilize the Money Smart program.
The Department of the Treasury, in its capacity as chairperson of the Financial Literacy and Education Commission, determined that it is necessary to develop core competencies for consumers and financial education providers. Now, these core competencies achieve two things. First, they set a baseline for consumers' understanding of general personal finance principles. And second, they outline the basic concepts that program providers should teach. They would also address the current lack of consistency in various financial literacy programs. From program to program, measurements for success are not readily identifiable. What financial information is taught, what problem-solving skills achieved, they're not standardized. The Department of Treasury identified 5 core concept areas: earning, spending, saving, borrowing, and protecting against risk, as well as specific core competencies for each area. The idea behind the development for the core competencies is to define what consumers should know and be able to do to successfully understand and make informed decisions about their personal finances. Now, both banks and financial institutions are making positive strides in helping millions of Americans achieve financial literacy. And while these steps are indeed in line with the efforts of the FDIC and U.S. Treasury, we have a long way to go. We'll be back to Anna and Ken for the wrap-up.
Approximately every 3 minutes, someone in the United States dies from a medical mistake. It happens every day. For one reason or another, you find yourself in a medical emergency. Whether it is yourself, your child, or another loved one, paramedics, hospital staff, and other EMT personnel need urgent medical information instantly. When placed in a high-stress situation, one may forget their vital medical information. In an emergency, MediFile, your electronic personal health record, is designed to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. MediFile will collect, digitize, organize, and store all your actual medical records, making them instantly accessible to healthcare providers, yourself, or any others you authorize. Now you can carry your entire medical history with you everywhere you go. The MediDrive is a specially designed flash drive that holds your emergency medical information as well as your entire medical record. With all of your medical information at hand and securely stored, you can now switch doctors and easily send your records to your new physician. You can travel with full access to your records. You can avoid paying for unnecessary and duplicate tests. And you can rest assured knowing your records are safeguarded from a natural disaster or catastrophic event. Simply follow the directions on the website to enroll. The life you save may be your own.
Having your entire personal medical history at your fingertips finally puts you in control of your healthcare and wellness. Take control of your medical records with MediFile. Call 888-241-0800 or visit medifile.com.
That's what is new to the street this week. To learn more about MediFile International, visit medifile.com. And you can learn about BLAST applications on the web at blastapplications.com. That's all for today. I'm Anna Berry. Thank you all for watching New to the Street, where we'll be keeping our eye on business. And for what's new to the street each week, check out our website at newtothestreet.com.